Hello everyone, I am back. It's been about 6 or 7 months since I made a video. We've been working very hard. The last video I did was called The Final Push. I had shown that we had found the triangle. We found the appealing appearance on that triangle. It was a carving, which we're going to talk about. We found the measuring stick, which was within a rock shelf. It was cut out of a stone. We also found a knife shape cut out of that same stone and a triangle. And what we were looking for was the last symbol, which is a olive branch. If you find the olive branch, you have found your victory. So all we need to do is identify what that olive branch is. Now, an olive branch, of course, in Freemasonry represents victory, but it also represents something else. It also represents a coffin, which we are about to see. And so right here, when you find these shapes chiseled out of this stone, that is your partial ashlar stone, and it is your victory. There will be a coffin in that stone. And we can kind of see that over here. Here's one. See, it's got shovel and chiseling and tools because they built it. It's constructed. And right next to that coffin is your olive tree or your olive branch. Another one, clearly see the olive branch with the coffin at the top. See another one over here. See your coffin, olive branch or olive tree. And we know that he's already had us dig up a stone coffin at the site, at the fellow craft site. We found this, we followed his directions and found a stone coffin, looked just like it. 2 parts, had a lid and then your base. And we thought he's in here. So we busted the lid. Ultimately, we didn't find him. But what he did do was he was teaching us. We didn't know it at the time, but when he gives us the carving which sends us to the Master Mason site, which is where we are now, this is starting to come clear as to why he did this. He's teaching us. He's teaching us the first 2 sites, your entered apprentice and your fellow craft, the clues that you pick up, the clues that you find when you work these sites, you're going to use on the last site. And that is how it's done. And so we can clearly see he chiseled out a stone coffin for us with a lid. Here's it from the side. We busted it all the way along here. Perfectly flat. And so this is what we're looking for, a coffin with a lid on it. And when we dug 10 feet back, we were following the stone that he was chiseling shapes out of. We just kept following it, and 10 feet further, we found what looks like a lid. It's dark because we're underground, but it looked just like a lid. This is from the front view. Just like the coffin, it kind of angled down, real smooth, and then you have this other piece, and it looks just like a lid, about 2.5 feet across, about 2.5 feet back. What's the odds of that? It's not possible. That's what we're looking for. That's the lid. That's the coffin that we're looking for. This is going to give us our victory. And so we started busting through this stone. We've been busting through it for a couple months now. And this is what it looks like. Our lid was like right up in here. So we started busting it back, and it created this flat edge. And that's very interesting as it's creating this flat edge, because I've seen this before, and where I saw it was with my carving. This is the carving that we found on our triangle. It's an appealing appearance on the surface of the stone, and it's right next to your measuring stick, your knife, and your triangle. He's telling you, he's giving you directions as to what you're going to find. And so what we have here is the building. The building represents the temple in the map. The big door is the bottleneck that he had you dig out. Go back to my, if you haven't watched my videos, you're not going to understand this. If you are following my videos, you're going to fully understand this. And so the temple stone is what is represented here. And then the big door is the bottleneck. And then next to the bottleneck is a smaller door or a lid. And it has the number 10 next to it, because you're going to actually break 10 feet of this lid. This lid is roughly 10 feet long. And when you do break it, it begins to create a flat edge. You see the man leaning over the flat edge, putting himself in a hole in the back. So we now know how to interpret this, and it's matching our directions. So we got on it. We kept chiseling. You actually come in over here on the side, and this is where you find your knife and your triangle and your measuring stick. And then the rock, the same stone goes this direction. So you follow it. You're digging this out underneath, and you get all the way to right here. And when you get to right here, this is where your lid is. So of course we got to start busting the lid, and the lid took us directly across. And now we are right here. We are on the right-hand side of the bottleneck. And that is very interesting because of the map, which we're about to see. I believe we are inches away from our victory. We are inches away from finding the upper half of Francis Bacon, finding what he left there, and ultimately leading us to the Ark of the Covenant. This is it from the side view. And we've already poured Dexpan. We've been busting it back slowly with Dexpan, and now we're right here. And I believe we're going to bust this section out, and underneath this rock shelf that I'm standing on, there's a hole, and it's going to go right into it. This lid is what's blocking that hole. But you would never know it unless you have the directions. He would never be found unless somebody understood what this is. And so once you break this, once we bust this all the way back, we're going to find our hole, just like that carving showed. This is our map. Here's the bottleneck. As you can see, the bottleneck shape right here. The bottleneck shape right here, all the way to the right side. And he's right here. And if you look, you have the footprints going right to the right side of the bottleneck, the right corner of the bottleneck. And what does it say just below that? Coded in a cipher in map. That is directly referring to our cipher map. When you flip it around, this is the map of Jerusalem. And as you can see, it just looks like a bunch of buildings. It isn't until you flip the map that you get your message, because this is the direction in which is going to give you your hole in which he's found. And it's going to be right there. So, according to this, we started here. This is, oh man, I'm just shaking all over the place. So we started here. This is where our measuring stick was. We dug across. We found our knife. The knife led us across here. We then found our triangle right here. We then followed it and dug all the way to the left side of the bottleneck where we found our lid. And the lid has taken us all the way across the bottleneck to the right-hand corner where our footprints are, in the map. Your footprints in the map is X marks the spot. That is your victory. You will obtain his bones with writings, which will lead to another ashlar, a full ashlar stone, which will lead you to the light, or the Ark of the Covenant. Go back and watch my last videos. This is a 3-piece artwork, modern 3-piece artwork, but it is step-by-step directions for our cipher map. And 3 pages, I've done every bit of it, and we have manifested every single piece has been manifested. The only thing that has not been manifested is our victory. And I believe that is our lid, that is our coffin that we're looking for, and we are inches away. And so I wanted to make this video and show this to you so that when we do this, we've already got it Dexpanned. So it's only going to take probably a couple of pours, and we're going to bust through this lid. So in a couple of weeks, another video will be coming, and it will either be we did it or I am wrong. And so we are going to, you will get another video very shortly. I wanted to do this one because I wanted to bring you to it. Once we understood what we were looking at and we started working it and we got very close to the door where we believe the door is, then I wanted to go ahead and make this video. And so it's just taken us several months. I apologize for that, but we have been working very difficult. And when you finally see this site, when you see the amount of digging that we've done, it's incredible. And I've always said this right here is the key. When we found that underneath the Omega site, and we were led to that site to find a stone on a triangle in which he tells you you're going to find a triangle, and you're looking at something appealing on the surface, and you find this, a man putting himself in a hole, which is exactly what we're trying to do, finding a man who had put himself in a hole. It's impossible. This is real, and we are inches away from finding Sir Francis Bacon. So I thank everybody. I thank everybody that watches these, that believes in this, and very soon, we are going to see the Father rise. And so all glory to Yahweh. Thank you for your son, Yahushua. Thank you for knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Amen.